this video, I'll give you the basics that everyone should know and apply to go from skinny to muscular. If I could send a video to my younger self when he first started the gym, this is exactly what I would send him. I was skinny. I was a shy kid, didn't have much going for me. I was looking up to these jacked dudes, people like Ziz, like David Lade, and I wanted to look just like them, so I began my journey. I first started my journey by doing random exercises, and I still managed to put on decent muscle, but it's when I first saw noticeable gains that I became addicted. I binge watched all the fitness content I could. I was working out for hours, and I actually started eating more. Now 2 years later, and 50 pounds heavier, I can proudly say that I am not skinny anymore. The first thing you need to adopt is a great workout split. Now, during my 2 years of lifting, I tried many different splits. Tried a full body split, upper lower split, Arnold split, Gym Bro split, but there's this one split that gave me the most amount of gains. That split was a push-pull leg workout split. I'm gonna add the push-pull leg split in the description. It's probably gonna be the third link, and in that link you're gonna have all the information you need to know about that split. The push-pull leg split is quite forward. The first day is push, where you do chest, front and side delts, so your shoulders, and you also do tricep. For each muscle group, so let's say for chest, you're gonna do 6 different sets. During those 6 different sets, you can do 1, 2, or 3 exercises. I personally like doing 2 exercises of 3 sets each. So for chest, that would be 6 sets. For triceps, 6 sets. And for your shoulders, also 6 sets. The second day is pull. So you basically do your back, your rear delts, and your biceps. For the sets, how much sets you should actually do, it's the same as the push workout. And the last day is legs, so divided in quads, hamstrings, and your calves. Now this day is kind of different because personally I found the most amount of gains when I reduced my amount of sets during my leg workouts, and they were like a lot more enjoyable because I mean for me leg day is a torture. So how it goes is I do 6 sets of quads. Usually I do squats and leg extension. Then I do 6 sets of hamstrings. Usually I do RDLs and hamstring curls. Lastly, I do 3 sets of calves. For the rest days, you can basically do whatever you want as long as you actually take some here and there. So at least once a week, I would say. And you gotta not skip too much the gym. You gotta at least go to the gym 3 times a week. That's the minimum. Now let's talk about the exercise selection. There are key things you should know about your exercise selection to optimize muscle growth. The first one is to at least have 1 compound lift per workout. So basically, let's say today's push day, at least do bench. Something like that. For your chest, 1 compound lift minimum. Now for pull day, you could do 1 for your back, which would be rows. And for leg day, you could do squats. The second thing you need to know is to choose exercise you like. Now, this is not only because, I mean, your workouts are going to be more fun, but you're also going to be more focused during your workouts. And honestly, that's gonna lead to so much growth. So if there's one that you actually dislike, just change it, bro. The third thing you need to know is to make sure that the exercise gives you a great pump. Now, there were exercises that I liked, but that didn't really give me a huge pump. And I mean, sometimes the exercise that gives me the best pump is the exercise I like the most. But make sure that the exercise you do actually gives you a crazy pump, because the pump is basically what's gonna tell you if your workout was good or bad. If you had a bad workout, you're probably not gonna achieve an amazing pump. If your workout was 10 out of 10, you probably got a crazy pump. And I mean, there's research that shows that basically the better the pump, usually the better the gain. This can vary from people to people, but usually that's what I like aiming for. The fourth thing you need to know is to vary your non-compound lifts from time to time. So for your bench, you can keep bench for like 2 years, like I did. Keep benching for 2 years. Keep doing rows. Keep squatting. But for the other exercises, let's say you were doing straight bar tricep push downs. I mean, sometimes try to switch it for the rope. Maybe sometimes you go for overhead. Maybe sometimes you go for some French press. You can play around with those. And usually you want to keep one exercise for, let's say, a month. After a month, you switch it and you're gonna find out that you actually get a crazy pump the first time you try a different exercise. And lastly, with the list of exercise I put in the description, probably the third link, you have all the tools you need to build yourself an amazing workout. Now, if you're gonna use that workout split, make sure that if something you don't like, change it. Try to adapt this workout split for you, because I did it for myself. I did this workout split for myself, and even nowadays, it's not the exact workout split I use, because I like changing things. When I don't feel like doing something, I try something else. So from month to month, my workout split, at least the exercise I do, changes. Now, we've covered which workout split you should be using and which exercise you should choose. But now, how do you make actual progress? How do you actually start growing in muscle and in strength? Well, you need to understand what progressive overload is, because it's with progressive overload that you're actually going to be able to make gains. The muscles only grow when they need to adapt to a change. So to a new different weight, to a new different exercise, to more load. So to keep growing, you need to keep adding weight onto your exercises. And to do this, you're gonna need to reach failure, where it's the absolute last rep you can do without failing, basically. Now, the first thing you need to know is how to track your progressive overload. There are two great ways to do this. The first one is with an app called Strong. Basically, in this app, you can basically list your exercises, the amount of sets you're gonna do, and the charge you use. And you can look back, let's say on the last push day you did, to know how much reps for how much weight you should actually do. And this will actually allow you to add progressively, slowly but surely, weight onto every exercise you do, so you can actually start growing. The second thing you could do is use a notebook. Now, personally, this is my favorite way to track my progressive overload, because I don't really like being around my phone. So I tried the Strong app. It works really well, but don't really like being around my phone, so I decided to actually just go buy a random notebook. This cost me $2. You got your pen, and basically what I do, I write the day, then I write the exercise, and then I kind of split it in how many sets I did, the charge I used, and for how many reps. So whenever let's say I'm doing legs today, I can look back on the last leg workout to know how much I should actually do. There are two ways to actually progressively overload. Now, the first way, and one of the best ways in my opinion, is you start off with 8 reps of a given exercise, and every single workout you try to do more reps. Let's say with the bench press, you were hitting like 1 plate for 8 reps. Maybe next workout you hit it for 9 reps. Maybe like from a month, you actually hit it for 12 reps. And once you hit it for 12 reps, you add 5 pounds on each side. Every time you go from 8 to 12 reps, you add some weight. 8 to 12 reps, add some weight. So it's a very simple and straightforward tactic. And the second way you can actually progressively overload is to add a little bit of weight every single workout, or maybe every single week. So let's say for your bench, you did 8 reps with 1 plate. Well, you could try to do 8 reps with 1 plate, and you add like 2.5 pounds on each side. And you do that with basically every single exercise. You just, instead of increasing the amount of reps and then increasing the weight, you kind of always just increase the weight by a little bit, by the smallest amount you can. Now, I have talked about the 3 pillars of working out. So basically your split, the exercise you're gonna do, and how to progressively overload. But now I'm gonna give you a few bonus tips that will fasten your growth. The first bonus tip is to focus on the stretch. Research has shown that the most important part of a given exercise, of a given movement, is when the muscle is fully stretched. So when performing any kind of exercise, make sure that you fully get the stretch portion of the movement. So example, for bicep curls, go all the way down and don't skip the first bottom part of the rep. Or when you're doing dumbbell presses, incline dumbbell presses, make sure you go fully down as deep as you can so you get your chest to be as stretched as possible. Not only should you make sure to not skip that stretch part of the movement, but you can also reach failure with that stretch part of the movement. So let's say you're doing bicep curls again. You're going from all the way down to all the way up, doing it for reps. Well, when you cannot do a full rep anymore, you actually start doing partials reps. And those partial reps are reps in the bottom of the movement when the muscle is as stretched as possible. These partials are called long length partials, and they can actually give you an amazing pump if you focus on them, and you can reach a deeper level of failure with them. The second bonus tip is to get a pump. Now, I already talked a little bit about the pump, but I think it's underestimated. The pump is your indicator of whether you had a good workout or a bad one. Not only has research shown that, but from personal experience, the times I actually grew the most were the times where I was working out only for the pump. Last summer, I would work out and I would just start flexing in the mirror in between sets, and I was reaching a crazy level of pump. Not only was I getting a better pump, I had a better mind to muscle connection, and mind to muscle connection can actually give you more gains because you're actually going to be able to target a certain muscle. So usually, the better the pump, the better the gain. The third bonus tip is to actually rest for 2 to 5 minutes in between sets. Rest for only 2 minutes when you're doing a small non-compound exercise. Let me give you an example. Bicep curls again. You're doing bicep curls, you don't really need to rest for 5 minutes. But if you're doing squats, I mean, personally, after squats, I'm gassed out. I cannot fathom doing another set in 2 minutes. So sometimes I take 5 minutes, and sometimes I take even more than that because I just hit like the craziest set of squat in my life. I haven't touched too much on the eating tips, but the most crucial thing you need to know is you need to be in a calorie surplus if you want to maximize muscle growth. Now, here's a quick tip for you. Try to make that calorie surplus as light as possible so you maximize muscle growth, but you also reduce the amount of fat you're gonna put on. This technique is called lean bulking. I made a video on how to lean bulk. So if you want to be in this anabolic state where you put on as much muscle as possible and as least fat as possible, go check this last video I made. It's literally like a video from 2 days ago about how to lean bulk. I will also list it in the description, probably gonna be the 4th link. I hope this video helped you, bro. If you'd be interested in one-to-one coaching with me, where basically hop on calls and do fun shit together, it's gonna be the first link in the description. And if you'd be interested in watching me and my little bros just next door work out together, we basically post all of our workouts, or almost, on this channel called Anabolic Monkeys. Now that channel is going to be the 2nd link in the description. See you guys. Mwah.